Welcome to Shadow of Truth, and today is Wednesday, August the 9th, 2017, and your hosts are Dave Kranzler from InvestmentResearchDynamics.com and Rory Hall from thedailycoin.org. Dave, what's going on?
Well, we got a little bit of a rally going on in the gold and silver market overnight. Gold's up 18 bucks now. Normally it fades after it pops on, for the reasons attributed to its popping overnight, and it's actually probably at the highs of the day right now. But I'm a little bit waterlogged. We've had nothing but rain here for 3 days, and it's clouding up to rain again. And the last couple of days, it's been almost nonstop. I honestly don't know how people live in northwest coastal cities.
I don't either. I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Too much gray, too much water.
I know.
I like sunshine.
I want to move to Palm Springs now, except it's in California. That's the only problem with it.
Oh, well, let's talk about some gold and silver and some digital money as well. What do you think?
I think we talk about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and then maybe gold and silver.
That works for me. I'd written about cryptocurrencies and the fact that the NSA had produced a white paper in 1998 in conjunction with MIT, and my fellow analyst and researcher Ken Shorten Jr. over at the Daily Economist was the person that actually dug up the information, and it confirmed what I've been saying right here on this show, that the NSA was involved with this technology. Now, the question that I have for you, Dave, is why are all these banks involved in cryptocurrencies instead of going after these cryptocurrencies as counterfeit currencies? Aren't they, in fact, counterfeit? I mean, is counterfeiting no longer a federal crime in any country around the world? I mean, Japan has legalized it, Australia has legalized it, and doesn't it run counterintuitive to the Japanese yen and the Australian dollar and the Federal Reserve note here in America? I mean, is it not a counterfeit currency? Or am I crazy in even thinking that?
Well, I mean, depends on how you want to define counterfeit. I mean, you know, if you want to go by a strict definition, all fiat currencies are counterfeit.
Yes, I understand that.
And Bitcoin is a fiat currency. I mean, maybe not Bitcoin itself, although who's to say that they can't, you know, continue mining more and more Bitcoins? I mean, they try to make this argument that the program and the blockchain is impervious, but I think we've already seen that that's not the case. And maybe each individual cryptocurrency in and of itself may have some sort of predefined limitation on the amount that you can issue, but you can issue an unlimited number of cryptocurrencies. And the reason why the central banks aren't fighting Bitcoin, they love these cryptos. Why? Because it's absorbing a lot of capital and a lot of cash that would otherwise be going into gold and silver, seeking a real currency and a flight to safety currency. We saw what happened overnight with gold and silver, and that wasn't just the Trump tweets, because no one believes that you know, we're just gonna at a whim push a button and nuke Korea. And I don't think Korea is going to do the same either. I think a lot of this is just a dog and pony show.
I would agree.
There's something else that was going on that caused gold and silver to pop. And I think a lot of it has to do with the extreme paper gold and silver short position relative to the amount of physical gold and silver that's being absorbed by the Eastern Hemisphere right now. But just to circle back, I mean, I don't want to necessarily label cryptos outright counterfeit. I mean, people are using them and accepting them, you know, accepting them and using them and ascribing value to them. But I will say that the frenzy that has now enveloped the cryptos, especially Bitcoin, reminds me a lot of the frenzy that had taken over the internet stocks in the internet bubble.
Yeah, the dot-com bubble.
Yes.
And last August, 1 year ago, I wrote an article called Digital Enslavement, Central Bank's Cryptocurrency Has Arrived. This was 1 year ago this month. And at that time, I was reporting on the utility settlement coin, which once again, we've discussed on this program in the past. It was entering into the testing phase. This was a central bank cryptocurrency, and it was developed by these pillars of the community like UBS, Deutsche Bank, Santander, and my personal favorite, Bank New York Mellon. And Bank New York Mellon is that criminal enterprise that Harry Markopoulos exposed back in 2011 on the King World News interview, where he was talking about this 40 plus years that Bank New York Mellon has been skimming 0.03% off the top of all pension funds, 401ks, IRAs, anything that they can. And he described in great detail how they've been doing it. So these wonderful pillars of the community are now have approved and have been part of the development of utility settlement coin. I mean, it just reeks of a problem. I mean, I don't know what the problem's going to be, but this is not something that I want to be part of. I'm trying to get away from this. I mean, the Federal Reserve note is bad enough as it is. But now you digitize that thing, and now we have a serious problem. I mean, and once again, I don't know what the definition of counterfeit is, but I'm just wondering why all of these organizations that you and I and a great many other people report on their crimes against humanity every single day, all of these enterprises are now looking at embracing Bitcoin, blockchain technology. They love it. They want more of it. And it just raises a lot of questions for me. Why is the IMF saying, yeah, this is cool? Why is the United Nations saying, yeah, blockchain, awesome? I mean, doesn't that raise a flag? Shouldn't it raise a red flag does it raise one for you, Dave?
Yeah, I've always had a red flag on Bitcoin, even a couple years ago when it really first started, being a thing. Because anything, they come out and they make these claims that, that this blockchain is impervious to hacking, et cetera. And you know what? I don't think there's a computer system or computer program in existence that can't be corrupted or hacked.
Actually,
and I remember,
tell me that.
I forget how long ago it was, a couple of years ago, there was like some sort of conference that was organized by, I think it was the SEC, and there was a couple other government organizations. There was a conference on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and at the time I was just like, well, hey, this is an implicit sign-off on cryptocurrencies by the very factions of the U.S. government that are the most corrupted. And so that, to me, was a red flag all the way even back then, that, there's something here that is going on behind the scenes that's not apparent. And when you think about, really, Bitcoin, just like the U.S. dollar, requires faith in the value of it, faith in maintaining the value of it. And we've seen what's happened to the value of the U.S. dollar since the erection of the Federal Reserve in 1913. It's lost about 98% of its value. 80% of that value of value decline has occurred since the gold window was shut in 71. But I thought there was I didn't get a chance to look at it yet, but there's some snippets that were posted on Zero Hedge about the debate between Peter Schiff and Max Kaiser over Bitcoin. And this, to me, sums it up really nicely. This is Peter Schiff. Bitcoins are the new beaver pelts of monetary transactions. For thousands of years, when available by free choice, gold has always been the currency of demand. Things like salt, cigarettes, beaver pelts, and recently Bitcoin come and go. The scarcity of gold is real. The scarcity of Bitcoin is artificial. It depends on trust that a human-based promise to mine more coins will be limited. There you go. It's Bitcoin is just another faith-based currency. Cryptocurrencies are faith-based, and as you point out, the fact that it's based on original NSA computer programming, computer software, that should kind of tell us all we need to know, because it tells you the NSA at the very least has a back door into the Bitcoin system.
Well, they have the keys to the kingdom.
Exactly.
I mean, if it's their technology, I mean, and I've been prepared. I mean, I wrote this article, and it got published around to 2 or 3 different websites, and at the end of that article, I said, I know that I'm going to be attacked, and I'm okay with that. And I know that you and I are going to be attacked on this because the cryptocurrency folks don't want to hear this kind of thing, and they want to tell me that I'm wrong and I don't understand and I don't get it. I've had computer programmers tell me flat out that anything on the internet can be hacked, it can be tracked, the encryption can be broken, all of it. It doesn't matter. It's just it's a question of time. That's all that it is. I mean, instead of it taking, instead of it taking, 3 seconds to figure out that this person's used their birthday for their password, it takes them, 3 minutes to figure out that they've got a 45 alphanumeric encrypted code. That's all. That's the only difference. So it doesn't matter. I mean, isn't the NSA and some of their other spy surveillance agencies the ones that developed the Sputnik virus? Aren't they the ones that came out recently and said that we can, in light of all the Hillary emails and all the Russia did it hacking nonsense, that they can go into any computer and make it look like it was hacked from anywhere that they tell it that it was hacked from? Don't they have that type of technology? And if they do,
you know what? I'm sure they do.
They do. It's been admitted. So if they have that, I mean, as far as breaking an encryption code, they can break an encryption code.
Yeah,
Hello?
it boils down to, I've been a computer owner since 1982. I had one of the first portable computers ever made. And I used to program it in BASIC and Fortran. This was my sophomore year in college. It was an Osborne computer, and it was portable. I mean, I've always felt that there's no computer system or program that's impenetrable.
Right.
I mean, at a level, I'm sure, there's guys who can hack the NSA. So, to represent that Bitcoin's blockchain it can't be hacked, that's a bunch of nonsense. And I guess for me, just to kind of summarize this, and it really kind of occurred to me a few weeks ago. I mean, really what we're seeing in Bitcoin is a mania. And it's a mania just like any kind of bubble. And to me, it's kind of in line with, this everything bubble that's going on in the markets.
Yep.
So just like you've got stocks going up, a lot of stocks going up in parabolic fashion. A lot of this excess printed money is piling into these cryptos in excess fashion, and they're just chasing the price higher. It's become a greater fool game as opposed to, hey, at a certain level there's value here, I'll wait until it gets down to that level.
What I don't understand is that why cryptocurrencies keep going up and down, and they have these massive fluctuations. I mean, isn't a isn't one Federal Reserve note one Federal Reserve note? I mean, how would that work as far
the
as
amount of money
Bitcoin?
flowing into Bitcoins? It's like a stock. It's just when a stock, money flowing in and out of a stock pushes the price up and down. And there's a guy who's been manipulating Bitcoin. I mean, for a while, I think we were all told that you couldn't manipulate it and it was unmanipulable. Well, apparently, there's a guy out there who has been manipulating it. And another red flag: Goldman Sachs is touting Bitcoin. What more do you need to know? And then for the coup de grace on June 8th, Jim Cramer said Bitcoin may go to $1 million. I mean, you've got all these red flags all lined up against Bitcoin. So, for me, I'm just staying away from that. I'm not chasing it. I've never owned it. I've never bought one, and I never will. I take my excess cash and I continue to buy gold and silver.
There you go. And speaking of which, I want to touch on this real quick, because something that I wrote about a couple of days ago also was that the American Gold Eagles are having their best year ever.
I did see that article.
If you are looking to acquire a potential collectible coin with a minimum premium, because this year, number of gold ounces minted at the U.S. Mint for American Gold Eagles is on par to be the lowest minted year ever. If it's not the lowest, it will be the second lowest. This is since 1986. So in the almost 40-year, well, in the, 30-year history, it's either going to be the lowest minted year or the second lowest minted year. I'm going to continue to watch the U.S. Mint and see which coins have the lowest mintage and continue stacking those. That's what I'm doing.
That phenomenon is only happening in this country, because I can tell you right now, India is on track to import 1,000 tons of gold.
My goodness.
They did over 500 in the first half of 2017, and right now they're going at a pace that'll put them somewhere between 850 and 1,000 tons by the end of the year. China is not going to be a record year for them, but it's going to be their, it's going to, I think 2015 might have been a record year for China. It's going to be a lot more than 2016. And Turkey right now is on track to import by far the most amount of gold it's ever imported. And what's incredible about that is Turkey also produces gold. So they're not even producing enough gold in Turkey to satisfy the demand in Turkey. So they have to import it.
They actually had an 8-fold increase, 8-fold in June, year over year.
They had a big increase in July as well.
Yes. And Croatia actually made the headlines with an 83% increase in the amount of gold that they import. And these are fairly small economies, but the thing about these economies is that they are part of the new emerging economy that's part of the Belt and Road Initiative, where gold is going to be used as payment. They've already discussed it. So, I mean, everybody's getting ready.
Well,
what's
a lot of people are betting on the Bitcoin horse. I'm betting with the 5,000-year tried and true gold and silver.
I'm with you, Dave. What have you got? What are you working on over there? You got the Mining Stock Journal? You got Short Sellers Journal? What's on your plate?
I got both. We're furiously working on the Mining Stock Journal. And I just took a call from CEO of one of the companies that I covered. I'll have some good information in there tomorrow on this company. And the Short Seller Journal's weekly. So once I'm done with the Mining Stock Journal, I'll have to crank that out. So,
oh my goodness,
never ends.
Yep. And at midnight last night, I released an article or an interview, an in-depth interview with Alistair McLeod, and it runs just under an hour. I put it in 2 pieces, and it's a review of gold as money, and it spans quite a bit of history and quite a bit of geography. It's really incredible.
Yeah, Alistair's. I love his analysis and his writing and his interviews. I'll have to listen to that when I'm downstairs in the gym working out later this afternoon.
It's a good one. What else you got, Dave?
That's about it for me. I'd say it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. All right. We'll get the DJ and get it going. Well, you have yourself a good afternoon, and I will talk with you soon.
Yep, that sounds great. You too.